The topic today actually was inspired by these math signals, which every day gives us methods how to accumulate the power of thoughts. Elevated thoughts, Baba says, practically every day. And I looked up in many mulis. I checked this subject in many mulis from way back, and it is the same thing all the time. Elevated thoughts are the foundation of Brahmin life. And elevated, what does it mean? It means beneficial, level thoughts. And when thoughts remain stable, concentrated, thoughts travel far and wide. There is the time that it takes for a thought to travel is a split second, not even a second. Baba was saying the other day that he comes into Brahma's body in a second. He gives the murli and he goes back. And the distance is, immense. But still, the soul travels so fast. So the time it takes for the soul to get somewhere is zero, actually, I think. And the other time we have to think about is that the time is now when we can develop this ability to use our mind, to use our thoughts, this unbelievable energy that we all are. And it's powerful only and influential and affects the universe and souls and nature when it is pure. Anything that is actually the fuel that they put in the different forms of vehicles, cars, airplanes, and so on, has to be very clear to give motion to the vehicle. Nothing that is not clean can give energy to anything to move. And this is how is with our thoughts. The purer, when we go inside and touch the core of our being, the original divinity that exists in the soul, and we merge that, and everything that has covered it up and had hidden it from us for a long time gets burned or cut off by the connecting with Baba, then that thought is very powerful. Baba says that this is with thought that will change the world. He doesn't say that we have to work hard and replant the globe or make laws that govern a good life and so on. No, it is a thought that creates the perfect world that we want to live in our minds. We first create heaven in here, and then it manifests in matter. He was saying today that there is one kingdom in heaven, and there is one kingdom inside here. And who is the king? We are the kings. Each one of us is a king, and we have to make our helpers, our ministers, the three abilities we have that the soul has as organs, the mind, the intellect, and the sanskars, to be under our own directions, not under their own directions. It was a very beautiful Murli today talking about this. And it takes We know all of this, we hear it every day. The thing is that how much and for how long, how much time we give to put this into practice. And if anything goes out of line, to catch it on time, to bring it back. Baba was also speaking of another speed, the speed of one thought after the other, which means the speed of the uncontrolled mind makes all that energy that we are dissipates and spreads all over and can't achieve anything. So we have to concentrate together, to bring together in one spot, in one thought, all that energy and make it like the physical energy concentrated is called laser. And this is how our thoughts have to be, like a laser. And this is when it can travel fast to a big range, very far, unlimited actually, there is no limit where it can reach, and in a very short time, actually no time at all. It can reach the end of the universe, it can travel around the world, and everything, and whatever it spreads, the benevolent vibrations it spreads, it's felt immediately by the elements and by the souls who pick up and absorb whatever they're looking for. At this time, the world is, no need to say that it's going through a big upheaval, and souls are very distressed and fearful, and things happen every day, and calamities and violence and unbelievable things, because now things happen that have never happened before. They can't even believe that so much violence can happen, and souls start very young to be violent nowadays. How will all of that stop? It will change. We know how, Baba explains. But our job is to really cultivate this power of thought, make it really, really strong, benevolent, filled only with the divine qualities that Baba gives us with so much love every day. And when we connect to the pure source, all the rest goes away. Anything wasteful, even the ability to control our minds increases. I hear so many students who come and say, I can't control my mind. My mind is going all the time, running all the time. We have the ability to do it, but sometimes this disobedience of the mind is because for a long time, when we couldn't control our mind, it was a way to give us something, to give us some pleasure. And now it's very hard to get rid of it. We have accumulated some scars that really have been very harmful. Of course, Brahmin, Baba's children, managed to get rid of it, and we have, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But the thing is that sometimes is what Baba calls the royal defects, it is not the gross form of the vices. It is the very royal, subtle forms that we still have to work on. At least I speak for myself. To understand really the effect of and the power of thought. I'll tell you a little story. A little while ago, a lady came to give me help with some housework, and she brought her little boy with her 6-year-old Noel. So while she was working, I gave him papers and markers to keep him busy, to do some drawings. Then he took out the black marker to begin with, and he drew a very dark man, a black heart, a gun, one drawing after the other. There was nothing happy about it. There was nothing colorful. I went to the kitchen and saw what he was doing, and he says, "Now I'll do a drawing for you." I said, "What will it be?" He said, it's a secret. He hides the paper and does a drawing. And what does he do? He does what's supposed to be me, with a big smile, between two trees, and on top of my head, he drew a rainbow. I hadn't spoken to the child at all. I just said hello. I gave him the markers. He was very cute. He was very happy to see him and so on. And of course, he didn't hear anything about knowledge. And yet he picked up the vibration. I didn't even think of sending it. I just loved to see him. I love to see the soul, this cute little boy. And I saw the soul. And he picked it up. And he took colorful markers and made a couple of drawings like that. It was a proof to me of the effect and the influence that thoughts have on others, on souls, and the nature, and the elements. It is a real proof to see it in your hands. I kept this this little drawing, because it was so clear. The moment before, he was painting all kinds of violent scenes. And the next moment, when he does one for me, he draws colorful rainbow over my head. It's really a nice little story. And so we have to really work to absorb all the divine qualities of Baba's, the 7 divine qualities, starting with knowledge, then with purity, then with love, then with peace, and all the wisdom, power, and be those, and spread those. And whatever happens, we have not to be influenced by anything that happens in the world. We can't take anything anymore from this world. We only give. Baba comes, he doesn't need anything. He just gives. It's such abundance to all his children to offer what he is, what he has, to make us like him. This is where the power comes. And the way to spread and make this power work and change the world is thought power. Everything starts with a thought. Nothing can happen before I think of it. As I often say, I can't get up from the chair if I don't think to get up from the chair. It makes the body move, it makes everything. We all know that. I mean, it's obvious. But sometimes we kind of slip away. But we know how to get back. Baba is talking of, it's a little fluctuation of the intellect and a little bit of the disobedience of the mind that makes us fluctuate. I also love today, there's a heat wave, 40 Celsius yesterday and today here in the suburb, which is usually much cooler and than the rest of the city. And in spite of that, and Baba was saying, like people go to a beach to feel the cool of the ocean, your faces have to spread such vibrations that people feel the cool of the ocean from you. I don't know if I may have paraphrased it, but this was the essence. And I liked it that he speaks about coolness on the hottest day of the year. It happens often that he's very up to date when he talks on everything. We all have felt that, oh, this is just the right thing because it's what is happening now connects. So this is a powerful, Daddy Yankee was saying, have a fast of thoughts. Don't think too much. Few thoughts, benevolent thoughts, creative thoughts. Creation takes place now, a confluence age. Baba comes and creates the new world, and we are his helpers. I think when I hear Baba saying, you're my helpers, I think it's the highest position, the highest role for me to be God's helper. King and anything else doesn't affect me, but God's helper to me is the highest spot I can get to. And I enjoy it very much. Back in the 90s, from the time I went to Madhuban, I had this, by the way, I was born right there. As when I went as a guest, it was the time of the Global Cooperation for a Better World program. And I was invited to participate as a patron from Greece to the closing summit meeting of the program that created the People's Vision that was later presented to the UN and in London at the Parliament. And during one meditation that was guided for the guests, I realized right there and then that I am a soul, immortal, separate from the body. And that was it. From that moment, I have never, it was the beginning of my journey. Then, of course, when I came back, I took knowledge from Anthony, and I was going to the Muli every day and so on. But my birth took a place up there. In one day, in the morning, I felt I am a soul, and in the evening, I felt Baba. I thought, this is God. I'm here. And the first thing that I wanted to do from that moment, I don't know how it happened. It was almost by chance that somebody in a small gathering, an Indian environmentologist, said to me, I was not a Brahmin, by the way, okay? I just had that experience. I was a guest. You are going to organize the science symposium in Greece, and I will bring you all the scientists. You just organize the logistics of it. 11 months old Brahmin. It was the first symposium in Athens. And because I do believe, and I have it in mind all the time, a message that Baba had given to Brother Ramesh years back, that there will be a time where science will explain spirituality scientifically. Scientists will explain spirituality in a scientific way. Because actually there is great connection with all the physical laws and all the spiritual laws. First the spiritual law, and then it manifests in matter. First the spiritual law of karma, and then the physical law of cause and effect, and many others. So, yes, that was a long story. And now I hope we're planning some new such gatherings, because I do believe that the only people who are believed these days, actually, they need the proof and the belief, is that scientists will play a big part in helping us to reveal Baba, in understanding how the invisible and the visible, the mind and matter work together. And that's the whole life on the planet, how it functions. And it reveals how it happens, that God is here and explains the truth. And when you absorb all of this knowledge, you become the bestowers who help in the transformation of the world, which is so much needed. There is so much sorrow around. But, as Baba says, the main thing is just remember me. All of that comes to this simple sentence. If you need the power, you have to remember me. If you want to purify, you have to remember me. I don't know what's the time and how much time I've been talking.
Έχεις ακόμα μισή ώρα.
Πόση ώρα?
Μισή ώρα.
Κι άλλο? Πότε θα γίνει? Και μετά οι ερωτήσεις?
Ναι, Drossoula, yes.
Okay, sorry for the Greek. I just wanted some clarification. Yes. And so to go back to the original subject, the thought power. I don't believe there is any energy more powerful than the soul power. Because actually thought is the expression, the subtle expression, the subtle emission, vibration of the soul. And according to the quality, it manifests. It manifests in any case. Sometimes when concentrated negativity has an effect. Of course, according to the law of karma, things come back, but it does work. Not always, because when the energy is dissipated in many ways, thoughts, it can achieve anything. But altogether, all this emission of negativity from people's minds is what has created this black cloud over the world. And it's our task to make this cloud go away, to bring the light, Baba's light, onto the planet and make this cloud disappear altogether. Many people are nowadays beginning to, the most difficult all the conditions become in the world, the more people wake up. And many more people begin to wake up. I notice so many groups are formed. So many efforts are being made. But what I have discovered is that they all think that it will work and the world will change if we work from bottom up. And this is practically impossible. Bottom up, it means everybody has to change, we have to do something to do it. It's impossible. It works from top to bottom. It takes an energy to really throw light to the whole pyramid. And that's how the world will change. And it will change fast. And time is coming very close. And time is all kinds of things. It's a time now that we have to do all this spiritual work. It is the time that thought takes to, how long it takes to do it. And it is the time, or the wrong time, the wasteful time when we do not control our mind. So we have to be careful about this. Use the time in a right way, with beneficial, powerful, benevolent thoughts for everyone. It's for us, it has become easy to go beyond any influence that people spread around, whether it's negative. But the world cannot do that. They absorb. And the more you absorb, the more something becomes more powerful. The power of the atomic bombs, the word, the atomic bomb, where the word atom comes. It's a Greek word that means something that cannot be cut, cannot be split. Eventually they did split it, but at the time, when they found that this was the smallest particle of matter, they thought it couldn't be split, and they called it atom. And the word atom, which means it can't be split, comes from the word atma. So often Baba says there is an atomic energy, atomic power, and atmic power. And he often says that the science has used this incredible energy of the atomic energy, and makes bombs that can destroy whole cities. But the atmic power is even more. Atmic means the soul power. It's even more powerful than any physical bomb, because it spreads bombs of love, of peace, of happiness, and everything that Baba gives us, the light, in one word. What we receive, we spread out. I don't know why sometimes I insist on that, as if we haven't believed it enough yet. I'm not sure that we understand so clearly. I speak for myself, that I understand so clearly this function, how the soul thinks, and the thought goes out, and it does, and what you do, it comes back. I mean, to think of it in a physical way. And that's why I insist a lot on this. I talk a lot about this subject of that the power of thought increases when there is purity inside the soul. And we have the opportunities You're so lucky, so fortunate at this time to have found the source. And by remembering Baba, we can purify ourselves and thereby help the purification of the world. Yes. I don't know, we can move to questions because it will be, if there are any, or I can carry on.
Yes.
Huh?
I don't see any. I don't see any questions. Anyway, if I want to ask you something.
Yes.
If you can share about that. Whenever, well, I am a person who organizes things at the last point, but always I have a plan B. And Drossoula always tells me, don't think too much. Go with the flow. Never think, never have a B plan for anything. And your mind becomes full of thoughts and ideas. Can you say a few things about it? Why are you telling me this?
Yes. Yes. What I said, though, also is that instead of having a plan B, have a plan G, God's plan. In other words, let the drama think the best you can, have the most positive thought for an outcome without any attachment to your wishes and your desires, and let God. That's a G plan. Because if I try to fix things, a plan B means that I'm trying to fix something and it doesn't work, and I'm trying to fix it in another way. But it's fixing it. It's not letting go and always having in mind that I want the best to happen, whatever this best is. Because sometimes we have desires and we have a particular idea of how things should evolve and what should happen. But when we let Baba, when we let the plan see, then things work like a miracle. And everything brings benefit. We hear that every day. Drama is beneficial. The other day I got a message from Sister Jana, you all know, in Washington, who had a fire, accident fire, the 2 rooms in the center caught fire and burned down completely. And I heard the meeting the class had with Sister Jana, with Sister Genti, and she was so praised for the way she handled the whole thing with peace and calm, and kept everybody cool about it. Nothing happened to them. They had another place to go stay. And at the end of the conversation, Jenna said that, you know what, Sister Genti, these 2 rooms were the only ones who had not been repaired, and now we have a chance to repair them. In other words, okay, there is benefit in whatever happens. There is nothing that doesn't bring benefit. It may not seem so at the time, but it is beneficial. Only those with knowledge can understand this. People think that they're depressed, distressed, upset. And another example, there is a student recently who is going through a difficult time in life and cannot quite manage to progress fast because, and I realized that what is usually the problems of souls is attachment to my ideas, attachment to people, attachment to things. They can't let go because they think they mistake attachment for love. This is the main one. Big, love has turned into attachment, which they think is love, but it has become the way that a cell becomes crazy. Love has become an attachment. And all these energies, these powers, power of love, power of peace, power are this, they have what they turn into when the intellect stops using, cannot discriminate right from wrong. That's what happens when we fall. We can't discriminate anymore what is right from wrong. And so love turns into attachment and possessiveness. Peace turns into anger. They all have it's like πώς λέγεται, Μαρία, μεταλλάσσεται το κύτταρο σε καρκινικό. Sorry, can't find the word.
Transforms.
Ναι.
Πες transform.
Yeah, it transforms. It doesn't transform. It, like a cell in a body, it becomes. I just lost that word now, but you understand what I mean. It's the same thing that becomes something else, and now we have to bring it back to its original state.
Drossoula.
Somebody who has a child and has a problem with a wife, they have separated and so on, tries to drag the child to him and so on. And to a 4-year-old child to say, "Oh, I love you, I love you." And I said, I heard this and I said, "Don't do that. That's a burden on the child. The child can't understand what you're talking about." Attachment is a very big vice. In spite of the fact that Baba gives it number 5, the 5 vices, it's probably because it remains for longer in souls to purify or try to purify. Attachment, we have to give up all what we believed in, all what we thought of. Nothing belongs to me, and I don't belong to anybody. All the statements of Baba's, we have to churn them constantly, all the time. You're saying this morning, stay 3 hours in the morning and remember it's 3 hours, and you'll be very powerful for the whole day. So we have to really accumulate while we have the opportunity and the fortune to do so. Because it's here.
Drossoula, να σε ρωτήσω κάτι. I will ask you something. There are some questions here. There are some questions here.
Yes, okay.
The power of thoughts increase with purity. That is related with celibacy too. In other words, our third eye opens with purity?
Absolutely. Wait a minute. The third eye opens with purity. Yes. But the first instant of awareness that I am a soul, for instance, I remember my case where it was just so instant, I can't describe it. That I understand I'm a soul, it doesn't mean at that time that I am pure. Of course I'm not. It's the first instant that I understood I'm a soul. But then to be able to remain in that state and to improve your internal world and to get rid of the sanskars that have plagued you and the sorrow that has accumulated and negativity and all the problems, then you have a whole journey to do and a whole effort to purify. Yeah. And then the third eye opens. And then I understand the whole picture. I understand all the knowledge. And I have no trace of doubt. And I'm able to get rid of all the accumulation of negative sanskars, which I've done for 63 births. So knowledge, awareness precedes the purity. First, the awareness, the conviction that this is so, that I am a soul, and then the process of purification with Baba's instructions and following them. Yeah. But the awareness is the first thing that, I like the word, the eureka moment. Yes, it's like I understand a feeling I have for somebody. For instance, somebody falls in love, you can't go saying, no, it's not true. There is such a conviction, such a feeling, a certainty that this is so, that nobody can shake me from that. This is the soul consciousness when I realize I'm a soul the first time. The moment I say, aha, yes, I am. I mean, I can't tell you, I remember to this day, I was flying with this idea. It means that I probably had a great fear of death. And I realized that I'm immortal, that I'm not ever going to die, and that I'm not this body who will perish, but I am something else. And that burden immediately left me. And I went to my room, I remember after the meditation, looked at the mirror and I shook hands with myself and said, nice to meet you. It was the first time I felt that I met myself. For years before, I used to look in the mirror, deep into my eyes, and I was saying, one day I will find out who is hiding in here. Yeah. And it happened, and I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I found it. Of course, the journey continues towards the karmatic stage. It takes time and effort, but we are all on the path, and this is beautiful. And I'm so happy to be with the family.
Drossoula, thank you. I will ask you something else. Your name, Drossoula, means freshness and coolness. So the question here is, there is a question about your name. Can you explain a little more about the power of coolness? And I would like to ask how we help in a difficult situation, let's say of excessive heat or cold. To what extent do we intervene? Did you
To
hear
what
me?
extent?
Do we intervene?
Okay, coolness. Yeah, actually, the name means three things: freshness, coolness, and morning dew. The morning dew, the drops on the leaves. And coolness, actually, when Baba says you have to be cool, it means to be peaceful. Coolness is a serene mind. It doesn't run, it doesn't jump, it doesn't make exercises. It's serene, peaceful, cool. It's not, in other words, it's not affected by what is happening around in the world. And when this is so, it spreads a coolness. Baba said even a coolness about the heat. You said about the heat and the cold. Even that does not really affect you in terms of making you, yes, of course, you have to take precautions. If it's 40 degrees outside, you're not going to sit out in the sun for 3 hours. You'll probably leave the body by that time. But taking precautions and, protect yourself, you can tolerate it. We have to tolerate all the conditions that come to us now. We have the original divine qualities, but we also have the 8 powers to help us face conditions of the world today. Because the 8 powers are obviously for now, they're not for the golden age, because there is no reason to tolerate anything at that time, or whatever else, all the 8 powers. So, yes, coolness is to be detached, peaceful, observing, and not affected. And by doing so, you spread that coolness. He said today, it's coolness like the ocean. When you're an ocean in here, the ocean is cool. Even on a hot day, it's cooler than the temperature of outside, of, the atmosphere. So when you become an ocean of all these divine qualities, then, and we have seen that in the daddies, because they were oceans of coolness and all the divine qualities. And they were spreading around. That influence is so powerful, can't be seen, but can be felt. I remember once I was with Daddy in Istanbul, in fact, in Constantinople, during a UN conference. And we're walking on the street, and people would stop and look at her and say, who is she? They felt the vibration she was spreading around. And that works like a magnet and attracts souls to feel what they're missing. It's like walking and finding a gold mine on your path. It's when you meet somebody like Daddy who spreads this vibration of the ocean around her. People felt they had to go close to her. It's very, very true, very real, this emission of the powers of the vibrations. In any case, many scientists, and I love them, when I hear them, when they say Einstein said it, Tesla said it. If you want to know of the universe, you have to realize that everything is energy, vibrations, and frequencies. That's another subject, the frequencies. it's the reason we get together. It's due to the frequency. Similar frequencies attract each other. We can't. Why does anybody wake up from Paramdam to come on the planet? It's when the frequency down here is the same with the frequency I left. They meet, they work on each other, they connect, and I come down. Whoever, all the souls, that refers to every soul. Yes. We are energy, we vibrate, and the frequency actually has to do with the quality of the vibration. Right? And according to the quality of the vibration, that's how we meet each other, that's how we get into the families that we get into, that's how we change and go to another family. It's all due to this magnetism of the synchronities of frequencies. Yeah, that's how the whole thing works. And that's how you understand how the universe, that's how you understand how the universe works. And how life works on the planet. Yeah. We get, we get so attached sometimes to things. I understand myself. I see some things that I still have to get rid of. There is always something that pops up. You think you've cleared it, and poops, the situation comes, and there it is again. Okay, as Baba says, maybe in a royal form, in a subtle form, but they do. And we have to be careful at that time, at that moment, to say, oh, what is here? Why did this come up? And change it. We have the freedom, we have the ability to make our choices. And when we make our choices, the right ones, our intellect works like Baba's intellect, or we let his intellect work for me, through me, then we make right decisions, right words, right actions. We serve in these three ways anyway. We vibrate, we spread sound vibrations, and we act. So all three have to be equally high vibrations. They say high vibrations and low vibrations. They have measured the consciousness according to the vibrations, because they have machines to measure the thought vibrations. Or they've done that with the junkie too. And they saw to say, yes, they made yes, and they made a list according to the level of consciousness, the highest being I am a soul, which is 1,000 hertz or whatever they call them, vibrations, and it goes down according to the feeling, whether it's the ineffable am, there is no even, in other words, it means the knowledge of understanding of who I am, of love, peace, of happiness, and then go down the line and get into the vices and the faults and the defects, and the vibrations decrease, decrease, decrease.